What's up, everybody? Rot here. This is going to be probably the final walk around of the AT3. I have a post-it note about stuff I want to touch on in case you hear from the for sale ad. So I'm going to real quick just go over that, and I will put a timestamp down if you want to skip past me standing here talking. So if you just want to get a good walk around of the bike, hit the description and find whatever timestamp I put there. Long story short, this was going to be a parts bike, and I decided it was the better of the two I was going to choose from. Decided to rebuild it. I had it 100% torn apart, and just real quick, cheap, put it back together. Everything's just spray painted, just cleaned and painted everything. It's a Chrysler Intense Blue Pearl, I believe. Base coat, clear coat, just rattle cans. Got a key. The ignition switch quit working like 5 minutes ago. I don't know what its issue was. So it's there, but it's not working. The throttle assembly is universal. It really needs the correct stuff put on it. I just was going to throw this at it just to make it run, make noise, whatever. The wiring is all original. I've made a couple repairs, but nothing too crazy. The ignition switch I don't believe is correct to the bike, but it was working. I have it wired up to where it was working until the key decided to quit, so it may need to be taken back apart at this point. The starter circuit is not there. I have all that bypassed. There's no starter button, nothing plugged in at the headlight for it. And I'll show you in the spare parts pile when I get to that. I do have everything to put it back. The battery might be what was fighting me as far as getting it running. I got it to backfire and almost run a couple times, but it wasn't happening. I'm thinking it's either that battery just doesn't have enough juice, it is a trailer breakaway battery I got at my local truck parts store, or it probably needs a set of points. They were working, they're on and off whether they work or not. The chain and sprockets are original. The rear sprocket's pretty worn. That should all be replaced if you're planning on putting a lot of miles on it. The tank was sealed by the previous owner. Looks super good inside. That's why I went with this one over the original stuff that I also have. Goes with the sale of the bike. The oil pump is a known good one. It is leaking. You can see that puddle there is either from the oil pump, which I know is leaking, or I may not have glued this side cover back on good enough. So good tank, and the carburetor is new. It's a cheap Chinese piece. Petcock is new fuel line. You can see the overflow lines there are all new. Like I said, oil pump is known good, but because of the universal throttle, the cable is not hooked up. It is leaking at one of the crush washers. The oil tank is full of AMSOIL injection oil, mainly for like snowmobiles and skis. I don't think any of the bikes have oil injection anymore, is why it says it's just for those, but it's made for injection systems, so that's what I rolled with. It's got an aftermarket Tusk shifter on the other side for a 90s to mid-2000s YZ125. I just didn't have an original one to throw at it, and figured out that that would work on my other bike, so that's why this has that. The tack cable is missing. Part of it is there at the case. It was broken, so I siliconed it so no water gets in there or anything. So that is missing. Also missing the brake light lens. It's a Preston Petty Enduro rear fender. Those are available NOS. I've found them for like 35, 40 bucks, just never sprung for one. What else are we missing? I do not have OE turn signals. I do have some universals. I'll go over in the parts pile. And I don't have the airbox boot. That's the only thing off the bat I can think of that I'm missing. The reason this side cover was glued back on, I had everything apart and the clutch was frozen, so I took it apart, cleaned it like I have on a bunch of other ones. I haven't had the thing running to be able to see if the clutch is going to survive. Whether it does or not, the clutch basket should probably be filed. It did have some grooves in it. I removed the rubber cushion O-rings, whatever you want to call them. I usually don't put them in anything else, but I do have them if you'd like to put them back in. It's full of Lucas 10W40. It is motorcycle oil. I do have the bottle. So this is what I've got in it. It is motorcycle oil, 4 wet clutches. What else we got? The rear tire is newer. I could not find any dry rot in that thing. It looks pretty healthy. The front tire it's got okay tread and a little bit of dry rot. It should probably be replaced. I did not replace brake shoes. The front brake is working, but I did not replace brake shoes on either end. I haven't tested the rear brake as it's not moving, but brake shoes should probably be replaced along with clutch cable and brake cable. They're working, but they're frayed on the ends. They should probably be replaced. The clutch actuator in the other case, the other side of the case, sorry, that'll need to be adjusted. I have everything is there. It'll just need adjusted so it works. And the seat cover's torn, you can see that. That's all I've got on my notepad. Besides, the mileage is correct. So 8 minutes. Stand by 1 second. I'm just going to scribble it down on my hand so I don't forget. We're just going to put 8:15-ish. Alright, so if you're skipping, welcome to the actual walk around where I'm not going to talk so much. Sorry, I lied. I'm still going to talk. This thing, yeah, if you want to hear a whole lot about it, just watch the whole thing. Cleaned it up okay. It still needs going over pretty good, but these are Preston Petty front and rear fenders. This is the Enduro rear fender, and it's got a Baja front fender on it. Any of the chrome that didn't survive, I spray bombed. I do have, I believe that's all of an original toolkit. Don't quote me on that, but that will be in the toolbox here. Not the prettiest in the world, but it'll do. What you're seeing all over it that looks like dust is actually seat foam. So that is pretty dry rotten. It's still got some cushion to it. It's not uncomfortable, but it just gets foam everywhere. This is done with some high heat black header paint, so that shouldn't bake off of there. The frame is, I don't remember if it was Krylon or what it was, but it's just a satin black whatever. Headlight is an original sealed beam. Somebody had cut and added an 1157 bulb in, and like had horrible soldering everywhere. I cut that out and siliconed an actual headlight bulb in. LED high beam indicator there. Like I said earlier, this is the key I bought for the ignition switch. They're correct, they match. I swear it was working, but now the key will not go back to the ignition. I'm not going to jam it in there. I'm tired. I want to work on bikes that I'm actually going to keep. Handles are just cheap, Amazon, whatever, but they work. Throttle assembly you could probably get away with using, but it will need the correct cable, the 1 and the 2 for the oil pump. Needs fork seals. Not terribly, but maybe that's terribly in your book, but it's not terribly in my book. The horn is there. It was working, but now the key isn't, so I can't show you that it's working. There's the breakaway battery in there. Like I said, the thing, it probably needs points. It's, of course I have the cover back on, but the stator is kind of crusty. If you hear from the for sale ad, check out one of the older videos where I have the cover off, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Little crusty under there, and spark at the points was intermittent. Like I said, I don't know what the issue is, and I don't have the attachment to this bike to want to chase it at this point. New NGK plug. It's a B8ES that I had in my toolbox. There's that Tusk shifter. It's pretty cool. It matches this bike. Like I said, missing tail light lens. It's like 30 bucks on eBay. Under the seat, original voltage regulator. These 2 wires are for turn signals, should you choose to have turn signals. This is all, I don't have a good way to tie it up because the press and petty fender is shorter than the original, so I want it up high to keep it away from the tire, but that makes it kind of ugly in here. That's why that's all bunched up. This thing has the original rubber band tank strap. It is missing one isolator on this side. It's got one, but it's missing the other one. And like I said, I'm going to zip tie the key to the handlebars. That way it doesn't get lost. Like I said, an ignition switch may need taken apart, but it might survive. Here is the wear on the rear sprocket. It's not quite circular saw, but I mean, it might look terrible to you, but it looks a whole lot better than what was on my street tracker build. These wires I added and just kind of had them out here. That is front turn signal. So the blue is your left, brown, which ended up in the center, is for the right side. So yeah. Overall, I think this is a really good starting point. If I didn't already have my other one that I built into the street tracker, this would be a great starting point. Like I said, I knew I wasn't keeping it, so I just don't have the attachment, the keep messing with it. I'd rather keep the one that keep working on one that I do have attachment to. This all goes with the bike. Universal incandescent turn signals. There's all 4 of them in there. This is a boot for the rear taillight harness. It's a box. Original ignition coil. I have a bunch of those, so I'm just going to throw that in. There's 2 original voltage regulators here. This one's just missing the cover. Yeah, that's right. This one's missing the cover. That one somebody chopped the plug off of. turn signal flasher. This is an original front brake light switch. Starter solenoid and all the wires there. And the Yuasa battery, that is in case you need a battery core to return. But that also gives you the part number you need for the battery, plus 2 good battery cables. The original throttle assembly is there, plus a bunch of cables. Some passenger pegs, I didn't put them back on. 8 and 10 wrench, it's not that nice. This is another known good oil pump and all the lines for it. Some front fork reflectors, another set of it's the same exact grips as what's on it. These are the cushion O-rings for the clutch. That's broken, we're going to throw it in the junk pile. Sorry. It's another left side handlebar switch. All the original sheet metal and the case that came with the bike that I don't need. So all that goes with the bike. I'm going to try and get some good pictures of everything, and this will be up for sale shortly. If you're here from the YouTube channel, I'm located in Bel Air, Maryland. I have it on Facebook Marketplace. Contact me through there, and we can maybe work out a deal. I'll try to remember to put in the YouTube description if it does sell. So, anyways, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.